Hello and welcome to the Real Estate Regroup Show. I am your host, LJ Walker, a real estate investor helping you realize your dream of owning a home or investing in one. Well, today's show, I'm going to let you in on a project to a certain extent that I'm working on. I have a friend who owns a multi-family brownstone right here in Harlem. It's been sitting empty for the past 5 months. So she basically asked me if I could help. Well, first things first, of course, I looked at the price that was being charged. What she's offering, it's really not high, but it is a high-end apartment. See, it's a duplex. So she is charging a little bit more than most other people. That already lowers the amount of renters that she can get because it's on the high end. As many of you know, New York was hit real hard with COVID, so we've lost a number of people. Then you have a number of other people who actually left their state due to COVID, due to the fact that the cost of living is high, and also due to the fact that crime has increased. So the pool of renters has definitely shrunk. And being that she's more on the high end, it's going to be a little bit smaller. The next thing I did was I looked at the ad. I saw that the realtor that she has is actually from the Upper West Side. He lives there, he works there. Now, I'm not trying to say he's doing a bad job, but the thing about it is that because he lives and works there, he is not really that familiar with Harlem. And it's evident in the ad that he's placed for her particular apartment. Okay? You see, here's the other thing. You can be a good realtor, but the people who are coming to you come to you because they want to live in that particular neighborhood. So being that he's in the Upper West Side, people who come to him because they want to live in the Upper West Side. They don't go to him because they want to live in Harlem. So that is an issue right there. Okay. Next, let's get into the ad. The ad, he has gorgeous pictures of the apartment, and it is pretty descriptive. However, I felt like a number of things should have been added because being that his clientele wants to live in the Upper West Side, you need to give them things that'll make them consider moving and living in Harlem. Like he could have mentioned whether or not washer and dryer was included or the hookup was included. See, many apartments here in New York City don't have washer and dryer hookup. Some do, and I believe hers does. That should have been in the article. All right, microwave, air conditioning, those little extra tidbits make a difference. The next thing is this. Many people who live in the Upper West Side do so because they like the fact that they are either near Central Park or Riverside Park. She lives near 5 parks. Central Park is not one of them, but Riverside Drive is. That should have been mentioned, and it was not. Next, transportation. He mentioned transportation, but it would have been better if he had mentioned how many trains and how many buses are near her. Particularly the bus station for the George Washington Bridge. George Washington Bridge is not far from her at all. Why is that important? Because the bus station up there goes to and from different parts of New Jersey, taking you to different outlets and also different malls. Again, alleviating the need for one to even have a car. It's in walking distance. So that's another reason why I felt that the ad should have included that. In addition, on her block, there is a garage. Granted, whoever rents it would have to pay to park in that garage, but one exists anyway in case the person has a car. Parking in the Upper West Side of Manhattan is not an easy task at all. So this is something that I felt that should have been mentioned, but because he is not from Harlem and he does not know Harlem, he probably did not know to say something like that. Another thing that people in the Upper West Side enjoy about their community are restaurants. No mention of any of the famous restaurants that are in walking distance to our home were mentioned. Next, there are art activities that are in the Upper West Side. Granted, her area does not have a lot of that. However, they do have the mansion to Barnum and Bailey Circus, the men who created the circus. They have a mansion in Harlem, which is 2 blocks away from where she lives. And I think that would have definitely been something that could have been included in the ad that was left out. Okay. There are also a number of hospitals and schools. One school is Columbia University. They have their medical program up there. One of their buildings are up there. That was not mentioned. And I think that would have been something that would have drawn some of the tenants into that area, or at least inquired about what was available. You understand? The next thing is I only really saw the apartment advertised on a few sites. So here's what I recommended to her. Since Columbia University and there's another school that's up there, plus the hospitals are up there in walking distance to where her property is, I told her to go to their websites and try to advertise her apartment there. Because hospital workers, they are essential workers. Many of the people that I know that work in that hospital near her do not live in the neighborhood and would like to. So I recommended that she will first call them, because I know for a fact with Columbia University, they give you a PIN number first. And then once you get a PIN number, that allows you to go to the website under housing and advertise your apartment there. And that's free. You don't have to pay. The other essential workers that I recommended was the fire department. The reason why is because I remembered when the houses on this block, those that were up for sale, I saw a lot of firemen who came to the open house because they wanted to buy a home. Many of the firemen that I've met, they don't live in New York City. They actually live in Long Island. So that's a very long commute for them. Being that her price, even though it's on the high, it's a high end because it's more of a luxury apartment, but for luxury apartments, it's on the low end, if you will. I'm pretty sure a number of them would possibly be interested in living in her apartment. So I suggested that she contact them and find out, who would be available to live in her apartment. Now, here is the only thing. She signed an exclusive agreement that ends next month. So if she finds someone before this month ends, which is November, she's going to have to pay the realtor. This is why, honestly, I'm not crazy, and I know a lot of realtors are going to be mad at me for saying this, but I'm not crazy about those particular agreements. My preference, it really is for landlords to look for their own tenants or go with the realtor in their neighborhood that has a good track record. That's who they need in order to fill up vacancies a little bit faster. But vacancies on a whole, to be quite honest with you, here in New York City is going to take some time. Okay, so guys, that's all I have for you tonight. Hopefully the information that I've shared will help you make smart financial moves. Feel free to pass this along. Remember, each one, reach one, teach one. Bye for now. Until next time, have a good night.